time, ready, set, go. Triple fast heartbeats flow. Confederacy, talking show. Freddie Andy in the glow. Hoops and jams inside your ears. Slam dunks, no more fears. B-ball chat over the years. Podcast legends, cheers and cheers. Up, down, bounce, come alive. Catch the vibes, feel the drive. In the zone, we will thrive. Freddie Andy running fives. Hit and roll to the beat. Every game front row seat. Podcast heat, never will retreat. Feel the pulse hit the street. 3-point lines, crossover spins, basketball.
It's longer than I remember.
I know. It's...
begins. Freddie Andy, we the king.
And the king and Freddie Andy were the Kings. Cutoff is so abrupt. It's the opposite of melodic. It's a horrible sound.
It's great. It sounds really good. There's a little echo
yeah,
to it.
it's really
really
good.
Nice. Really
yeah,
nice.
it's really nice. It's really good. Welcome to the Confederacy Dunks Basketball Podcast. I'm your host here with Andy Hull, the co-host and producer. And we're joined by a special guest, Raptors Republic writer, podcaster, awesome dude, Adon Moss. Adon, what's up?
What's up?
What's up?
We're here.
We're here.
The preseason.
Jeez. I just want to say, that song rocks so fucking hard.
Obviously.
And I'm starting to write down the little things I hear I guess the AI just speaks like incredibly fast.
Yeah, there's no time to breathe.
There's no time to breathe. I wrote down up, down, bounce alive. There's a part where they say up, down, bounce alive.
Probably, yeah.
I think. Bounce alive, I'm pretty sure that's in there, like
bounce alive.
I swear it's in there.
I didn't realize that was AI. I thought that was Andy with like a voice enhancer.
I wish I could rap that fast. For the Andy with the Kings. Yeah, can't do it.
Yeah. Damn. Let's we're here. We made it to the preseason, which I don't think is something that anybody says. But we, whatever. It's like speculation, 100% speculation season is over. And we have players that we get to watch and analyze and critique and blah blah blah. Raptors, Wizards. I mean, by the way, I can't think of a more like meaningless first game just because it's the Wizards and the Raptors. It's like I do believe there are no takeaways that actually matter from this, but also there are because it's all we have. Adon, let me throw to you. Yeah, right away. I don't know. Start wherever you want. Like, what did you watch this game? What are your thoughts?
I did not watch the game, full admittance, but I watched the highlights. And like when you have this kind of rebuilding, retooling type of team, and you're a basketball nerd, you kind of dig into the depths of the roster and the team to look for the little things. And for me, which I was already excited about coming in, was Jamal Shed. I think it's pronounced Shed. And he was defensive player of the year in college, came out as a senior, and he like immediately just kind of showed why he can stick around. 3 steals, drew an offensive foul, had some nice takes to the hole. And like, I have a type and he definitely fits that type full on, like the Kyle Lowry, Marcus Smart, Tony Allen type. He's a little undersized, but between him and Davion Mitchell, like they are going to haunt backcourts. And I'm excited for that. And it proved true immediately, albeit being Washington in preseason, but I like what I see from that. And it's like, the starting ground of a potential bench mob kind of grew going with, I think, Shed and Mitchell being at the foundation of that.
Yeah, I think Shed, and by the way, I think it's Shed.
I think so.
Yeah, is the takeaway. Like the stats aren't like super like eye popping. What do we got? What do we got here? 4 assists, 3 steals. 10 points. But to me, it was like he's just like, they might have even said it in the broadcast, like jumped off the page. Like, so I did watch the game, and because I'm an absolute sicko, I watched the game in 36 on my morning commute the next day. And yeah, he just like he comes through the game, and I feel like it's good you brought up Lowry and Smart and who else did you bring up?
Tony Allen.
Tony Allen. I'll throw Pat Bevan there. Like
Yeah.
there's an element. There's like it's cool to have a guy that is so feisty and tough and fast that he straight up pisses people off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he disrupted a bunch of plays that he got no stats on. And I think like watching the game, this is a difference with sort of like having these like major, like a steal or a block or, a stock or whatever. That's awesome. But he just like caused turnovers, like in the way that, not in the way that Lowry did. Cause like, I feel like it's like sacrilege, but like, we're just sort of talking about like what a player could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a reason everyone was like, I feel like looking through their Twitter GIFs and images and being like, what do I do here? Because I got to start making shed jokes.
Yeah.
I got to fire up the shed content because this guy is he's a guy.
I'm pushing for I didn't at the time I didn't realize it's shed. I was hoping it was something like shade, but I was thinking nightshade because you got Davion Mitchell's off night. So I was thinking off night and nightshade would be a cool like dynamic dual pairing nicknames, but back to the drawing board on that one. But yeah, I mean, like,
Hey.
I just love having those guys that are like sickos for chaos and, disruption. There's a type that are about that. And Van Vliet had that too. Like I wrote about his like once upon him,
Van Vliet
I called
for
them
sure.
ghost steals. Like they wouldn't show up as steals on the stats.
Mhm.
But he basically created a turnover by forcing the guy to dribble off his leg or whatever.
I just wanted to jump in and say Nightshade, obviously a huge nickname. But let's not act like Nightshed is not a bad one either. I mean, Nightshed is a perfectly fine nickname here, guys. Like, don't forget about it. Like, if you got something to fix late at night, or you need a tool, and it's
you're going to the shed
past 8 or 9 o'clock, you're going to the night shed for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it.
So, let's not write that off just yet.
East Coast, it's all about the shed party. So,
oh my God, I've had many a night shed. I've had great times in the night shed, working on the night shed.
Oh, huge. Okay, sorry. I popped
sorry,
in.
Did I quiet your critique with
No, Andy's starting to cook. So I need to let Andy simmer because my bad. I don't know what I was coming in to say, but you're starting to riff. So like
trying to find my nighttime useful tools, working on the night shed. Yeah, there you go.
I love how we're in that phase where like the Raptors are getting blown out and it's Jack Armstrong and he's like, "This is Christmas," and it's like the very first preseason
podcast 10 minutes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Working on the night shed.
If I get to talk about night shed at all this season, even one more time, I'm gonna be super happy about it.
I'm proud of you, man. Proud of you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, night shed.
I dare you to try and transition out of that.
Nah, I'm done. I'm dead in the water, bro. I'm dead in the water. I will. Here I go. I'm going for it. I feel like this is the world of like having too strong of an opinion right away, because I think what was it, like 3 podcasts ago? I'm like, if you start Grady Dick, you're the worst team in the NBA. And like I feel like I'm like already. It's a mixture of like he looked pretty good, I thought, and pretty sort of like explosive, and like the sort of like balance and like decision making's there, look stronger. But also I'm just laughing at myself because as someone, when you talk about basketball all the time, you get like stuck in certain ideas. And I just want to sort of like unstick myself with whatever ideas I had about Grady Dick. I don't know. I think that there's just a lack of fluidity that I saw last year that, I think he's going to be a good player, but I'm just going to walk it back. And I'm like, hey, he can be all right. He can be a decent starter. but yeah, just to not analyze.
Well.
Yeah,
Look
I'm back.
who's
Yeah,
come back to
look
the
who stepped
land
out of
of
the night shed.
reality.
Yeah.
Look who
Good
yeah.
morning.
Good morning. The
Look
night
who
shed's
spent
open,
all
brother.
night in the night shed and now is looking to praise our boy Grady Dick. Well, surprise, Freddie Rivas. Grady's been pretty decent all along. No, I remember when you said that, and I can't remember who the guest was that week. Do you remember? I can't remember who it was,
No,
but we
but
both,
you guys
but
ganged up on me pretty hard.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
both like, I think you're wrong, dude. Like,
think I am.
I think some of the work, I think there's a couple of teams who'd love to have a guy like Grady Dick start for them. So,
I'm dead wrong.
not to say he's like some elite starter, obviously, but yeah. Anyways, happy to see you running it back, just like you ran back the critique for Nightshed.
Yeah. Where are you at on Grady Dick, Aiden?
I mean, I understand your concerns. That like there's a lack of explosiveness. I think like again, I saw the highlights. Some of the moves he made, I think over, it was kind of like the jab and go stuff will get picked up on eventually. But he scored at all three levels. If he's going to hit a mid range off of like one or two dribbles, fadeaway, which he did, I think it's going to open up a huge part of his game.
For sure.
And as he gets stronger and fitter, which I think he already is, he's the type of player I think he needs to adjust to the cadence of the game, which is just at a much higher speed, particularly because he's less athletic than most. So I think it's going to take time, but like you're already seeing the strides, I think, which is good, and the confidence, which is also good. One game,
And,
but
I do think he still, even with improved physicality, will be a guy that just gets moved around on defense.
yeah.
Just his build is sort of like he has that kind of like lankiness, like he's not an explosive first step, like in the same way that like a Davion and a Jamal Shed like won't get moved around.
Yeah.
He will.
But he does. His footwork is very good on defense. Even last year, like he was getting. You remember he drew a couple of charges in a row, in like a couple games. Like he does a really good job of getting in front of guys.
He's clever.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think he can, and he will bulk up. So I think he can make up for like, yes, he'll get moved, and yes, he'll get blown by once or twice. The odd time, but I think overall, like his defensive mechanics are pretty good considering. So I don't think he's going to be a total like blow by guy, like maybe Duncan Robinson would be or something,
Yeah, I mean, he's also pretty damn tall, which is good. Yeah, I don't know. Other straight thoughts for me, anyways. Jonathan Mobo looked like a guy kind of playing his first preseason game, a little bit lost out there. Looks pretty athletic, and I could see being a guy that there's lots of like development and some struggles, but he looks the part. Like he definitely looks like someone who once he like develops a couple pet moves and that sort of thing, and kind of like picks up some defensive instincts and gets his reps in. Like he seems pretty legit. Like I could see being really excited about Mobo. Not that he like had any major flashes this game, but we had 5 assists. I'm looking like, which is nice. But
I saw one nice pass he made, just kind of like tight quarters baseline stuff. Which was
that the down low pass?
Yeah. I mean, him like all of the what's I was gonna say about Shed and like Mitchell and all these guys, like they all look like dudes that just want to work hard. Like the general energy of the team, Dick included, was like really high from what I saw. And it's just nice to have guys like that. That's like they're talking about how like quickly how quickly must be honing his skills in practice if he's working against guys like Mitchell and Shed, in scrimmages and stuff. And I think the same can be true for guys like Mobo and others who are just going to like, make you feel it at all times, practice or game, which I love.
Yeah. One early thought I had, sort of in that regard is like, there's so many, the kind of like pecking order of this team is going to be very clear. And I feel like there's a chance that this Raptors team like moves up and down the court very fast. And if you're a guy, if the ball is sticking with you, like if you're that type of guy, there's so much just like position battle. There's so many opportunities for you to lose minutes if you're a guy that is like dribbling it around looking for your own shot. And then we also have bigs in Kelly and Jakob that are like very, very unselfish.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to help to have like a very like up and down, fast paced team, which is exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Like really the only guy who like, I don't want to say chip on the shoulder, but the only guy that doesn't really have that is Scotty. It's like, Quickly and RJ got paid, but they still have a lot to prove, I feel like. And going down the list, there's just a ton of guys who are redrafts or young guys who've yet to prove themselves. So yeah, I think there's just going to be a good competitive spirit up and down the roster. And I mean, I don't know if you heard Darko's comments on Boucher about like, I'm treating him like a rookie essentially.
Could you imagine hearing that if you're a Boucher?
That's
like,
wild.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Like,
I thought you were going to say the opposite because I didn't hear that. But
yeah,
that's really funny.
I mean, I see where he's coming from, and that like Boucher has been a little bit, or at least from what I can see on how he's played the last year or two, is like a little bit more obstinate on how he's going to play. Like jacking threes when he shouldn't, and just doing things that are outside of what he should be doing on the floor. So I get what Darko was getting at. I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it. But yeah, even Boucher, he's in a contract year. Like he's going to be trying to earn his stripes again too. So I just think overall, like up and down the roster, there's going to be a lot of like, internal competition.
And to Darko's credit, like I'm like team, Boucher has like proven that he's a bench guy and like he should see minutes every game, like especially on a team like this. And I get we're developing guys, but I feel like it helps to have some proven dudes too. But then Boucher's like he gets like a huge reception at the Bell Center right in Montreal, and his first play catches the ball, steps out of bounds. And I'm like, dude, you gotta. I mean, listen, Darko's coming out those comments, but like, you gotta not
act like a rookie.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
And it's like, I don't know what the over under is, but like, I there should be a betting line on like how many 4-point plays is he part of on defense. Like Boucher seems to somehow. Like he didn't get like pump faked and pump fake for a foul, but there was a play where he jumped so high when a guy was about to take a three, and the guy just, instead of like leaning in, he just dribbled past him. But it reminded me, I'm like, wow, some things like I'm guilty of it, but sometimes people just don't learn certain things. Like they're just a way,
I think that is the criticism of Boucher. It's like we haven't really seen progress. He remains to be one of the great offensive rebounders, and I've never seen a guy draw so many fouls on the offensive glass. Like I wish that was a stat. I'm truly incredulous to it. Like people are always knocking him out of the way and stuff, and he's drawing these fouls. But yeah, he just hasn't advanced the way he should.
Yeah, I will always get jacked though, just as like as a thing a player does within a game. When when he gets called to play, like when he gets subbed in, the way that he runs, the way like how fast he gets up and runs to like the scorer's table is elite. Like I don't think anyone gets there as fast as he does. Like it is like it's energizing. Like especially at a game, you're like, that guy is jacked to play. Like that guy is unbelievably like his seat hurt the way he got up. You know what I mean? Like he's
excited to be there.
He's excited to be there.
He's just stoked to be there, which kind of makes sense. Like that's kind of what we can expect from him now. Chris Boucher, just happy to be here still. Hanging around.
Ecstatic to be here.
No one mentioned RJ getting hurt, which is I
Yeah.
think not
So
that bad, right? Like we're all pretty like, okay, he's not going to play in the preseason, but obviously you have like any injury, you're not really going to play in the preseason anymore.
Mhm. But I
But
think it's like a somewhat substantial shoulder injury. It's not
it's
great.
it's not great, and this is the thing we've all been saying going into this season is like, well, last year there was a lot of injuries and stuff, but that was they didn't get a chance to gel and everything. It's because it was all weird. There's a bunch of weird stuff happened. So this is the year though, and then bam, first game, RJ hurt out for the rest of the preseason. It's like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
not worried. I'm not worried, but it's not encouraging to see
Yeah.
one of your more physical players get hurt this early. So that kind of sucks.
You're like, I'm not worried. I'm just naked in the night shed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking for the monkey wrench,
Yeah.
and there's no lights on. I can't see a damn thing. What are these things I'm holding? You know what I mean? Are these?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like one of those assumptions with increased volume is that it's just increased volume, but with that comes, the more likelihood of, like a guy like Quickly. I think like if he's going to be a high volume, high usage guy over 82 games, which he has yet to be in his career, like can his body handle that? I mean, it's a valid question. And RJ was in the Olympics, he's going to have increased reps. Like, yeah, injuries happen, whatever, but it is something to be curious about as these guys move forward as the primary options for the team.
Yeah.
That's such a good point that I feel like is just maybe it's optimism or sort of wishful thinking, but I feel like in rebuilding situations, in just kind of like the way bench players and like the analytics movement projects forward, it seems to so often leave out this idea of like of unknowns, like what does added responsibility mean? What does like more minutes mean on a body? And it's like I feel like the conversations start and end statistically, and it's like this is their per whatever. Here's what they're going to do with more minutes, and it's like sure maybe, but like also there's a lot of other factors, and it seems I don't know. It seems sort of like simplistic sometimes to just imagine, like Quickly with more minutes, RJ with a bigger load, Scotty, whatever, like all these guys with bigger responsibilities are just going to be like, like I think sometimes analytics will assume that like their stats will like become less efficient or watered down a little bit, but the like what you said about like the sort of like the wear and tear, I feel like is not often taken into account.
Yeah, for sure. And even like, now the opposing team is focused on you,
Mhm.
that's like the game plan is now to take you out as opposed to the other guy. And then you're the tertiary option or whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's all part of the growing pains of being a young up and coming player and team. So it will be interesting to see those guys like thrust into the limelight time and time again over the course of the year.
Yeah, let's thrust to question number 2. So Andy, you just looked mad at that transition. He's like,
I don't like the word thrust. I'm not a
Yeah.
big thrust guy, I guess.
you like moist?
Yeah, everyone doesn't like that word.
Yeah, okay,
I guess.
fair enough.
Thrust though.
Thrust is good.
Thrust is okay.
Okay, so the Raptors are on their Canada tour, and I thought it'd be fun to think about as Canadians. All me and Andy live on the same street, but Andy's from Newfoundland. Aiden, are you from Victoria?
I grew up in Victoria.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually from Regina, Saskatchewan, but I grew up in Victoria.
Okay, so this is a perfect crew for this question.
And lived in Newfoundland, Andy. So
Oh no way!
Wow.
Where'd you live?
I was in St. John's.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Bit of a townie there.
So I know a lot about sheds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. That's where I get all my shed knowledge from.
I'm a Fogo Island boy, so no worries.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, all good. Whaling.
Just,
No, I don't think there's any whaling.
rain.
Rain. Yeah. So is there a lot
Fog.
of
It's fog.
whaling? Big rock.
Cliffs. Cliffs. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know Newfoundland very well.
That sounds like
Moose.
moose. I love them. And never seen one. Never will. So here's my
Never
question.
will.
I
You're gonna
actually-
look away. If anyone tries to
actually-
point one out to you, you're
I
just
hope
like,
I do,
Moose.
man. I hope I do.
yeah.
Fuck, man. So here's my question to you guys. Give me a list of of 5 places, like a mini tour. It doesn't have to be 5 places, but Aiden, I'm gonna start with you. Give me a Canada tour that's never happened for the Raptors, and like,
Yeah.
what's the theme? What's the angle? Like, how are we doing this?
I don't have a tour, but I gotta say, like, I think the most enjoyable places I've played hoops have been, or any sport for that matter, have been in at least on the island, in small communities and on a lot of like First Nations fields and courts. Like in those small communities, like everybody comes out. It's bonkers. It's intense. Like you really feel like you're playing for something. So I'm sick of these big city tours. Like it's, Montreal has a hockey team. We don't need to go there with the basketball team. So what I propose the Raptors should do is all communities under the population of 25,000 submit a team, and they have a provincial tournament, and every province has a winner, and the Raptors visit those. How many provinces and territories do we have? 10? I don't remember.
13 altogether.
3
13.
territories.
Okay, so maybe, I don't know, let's shrink that down to 8 somehow. Maybe there's a maritime tournament. And anyway, so the Raptors visit each community that wins the basketball tournament. That's my tour plan.
That's cool.
This is
They play against
fantastic.
the team.
Yeah.
This is
Nice.
fantastic. I feel like hockey does a certain
Yeah,
they
but
do
like
the
that where they
like
go-
you
it's like
you submit like a video about why you're a cool community, I think, and then Ron McLean comes and gets wasted at your local bar, which is sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that.
which
Very true.
honestly pretty
Hockey Day
great.
in
Like,
Canada.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
honestly,
Kraft
But-
Hockeyville. Is that what it is?
yeah,
called?
and like we could
Yeah.
bring Ron McLean along for this
For sure. He's definitely invited, but I think playing for the like chance to host the Raptors is the true like
Do you,
bit
This
here.
is cool. I like this.
do you guys want to hear something about Kraft Hockeyville?
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. If anyone's listening, they don't know what it is. It's a really big thing, right? Like all these communities, like Aiden's saying, like they submit. There's like a whole campaign. Like really, like a lot of money even gets thrown into like making the campaign happen for the towns, and then they get chosen. And then on Hockey Night in Canada, they say what it is or whatever, right? Like there's a big unveiling, and then there's like Hockey Day in Canada happens in that small town. Usually they'll get like a new arena, like they'll get all this cool stuff. I used to work at a company that did like press releases, like they would handle big companies' press releases and stuff. And one of the ones that I happened to pick up at work one day was the Kraft Hockeyville one. And it was at like 10, it said like 10 p.m. or whatever, like the very important, like what time things are released at, right? So I'd go through the release, I edit it and stuff, and I put it into the system. That was what the job was. And I set the timing on it. Then you send it to 2 other people, and those 2 people double check all your work, make sure the timing's correct, and blah 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 and all this. The day of Kraft Hockeyville, that press release went out 12 hours early. So it got released to the news what Kraft Hockeyville was. So like somehow I put the wrong timing. And the 2 other people who were supposed to check it also just missed the timing, even though it was just written as clear as day on the front page. That's crazy. And there's all these fail safes to make this not happen. It's called breaking an embargo. I'm sure if you worked in media, you know about embargoes, right? So like, it was a huge deal. I got taken, like, and not in an angry way, but I got taken into my boss's office. The CEO of the company, who just got yelled at by like Kraft and CBC and all the people who like were in the finals, like the mayors and stuff, were livid. They were so, because they had all these celebrations planned for the night to like find out for the unveiling. I ruined that. I ruined that for all these
Wow.
people. And it was the CEO's job who, to her credit, she was so nice about it at all. She just asked me what happened and the other two people, and we were just like, oh, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sorry. Like that was all we could say. Like it, and the thing about that job is that when you were new there, it's like, okay, listen, breaking an embargo is by far the worst thing you can do at this job, but it's going to happen. You're going to do it sometime. Just try not to make it be one of the really important ones. And I fully ruined it because I was thinking hockey day in Canada. I was like, oh yeah, they do the whole day. They tell them at the beginning of the day. I think that's why I set it for 10 a.m. Anyways, burn on me. I ruined a hockey Kraft Hockeyville, and and people were super pissed off about it. But I didn't get fired. But then I did quit about a year later. Because I was like, maybe I'm not paying enough attention to this work. Anyways, I got it. We're gonna go to high school gyms because that's, much like Aiden said, that's where my basketball was all played in sorry, not even high school, junior high. Gymnasiums outside in the cold. That's what I want to say. I want to see outdoor games. It's cold in Canada. The Raptors go, they do a school tour of Mississauga only. They go to Lorne Park, they go to Clarkson, they go to all the places where I played basketball. They go to Hillside, and then that's where they do it's called Keeping It Soggy in the SOG tour. What do you think of that,
Keeping
Freddie?
it soggy in the SOG.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
That's like
I noticed that your face didn't change.
Yeah, my
when
face
I said
was
it.
like, I can't
It's very
believe
stony.
Yeah, I was like, I'm rattled because of the embargo thing.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You're feeling for 2008 me about that. Yeah.
No, you messed up big.
I did. I blew it.
Soggy in Mississauga, I'll take it.
Only in Mississauga. Only Mississauga is getting full grass, even though they already have kind of their own team with the 905. But like, no, man. Do where I played. Go there. Hear the jeers of your teammates and classmates when you reject a guy who's going hard to the rim.
The outdoor,
you got stuffed.
The outdoor, that thought crossed my mind. I know you've seen the videos of like Belgrade Partizan or whatever playing, and it's just like there's flares going off, and it's all outdoors, and it looks absolutely insane. Like that would be a really cool thing to do. I mean, I don't know how you pull it off in Canada, but that would be sick.
I feel like you would never get any actual NBA players agreeing to that, like playing in the freezing cold and stuff. Yeah. Like this is communist Russia or something. But you could probably convince a couple G leaguers to get in there and have a cool outdoor game.
I'll tell you who would play. Jamal Shed would play.
Oh yeah, Shed would be like.
I thought you were gonna say Chris Boucher. He'd be running there.
Honestly, this team is a good team.
This team would play. Yeah.
Yeah.
This team would be like we're there. Like we'll take the Greyhound, which doesn't exist anymore. We're there. So here's what I got. It's I think similar to both you guys, but also just trying to make like a thing of it. It's the island tour. So we're doing Manitoulin Island, we're doing Victoria Island, we're doing Newfoundland.
PEI.
See if we can organize something on Baffin Island. That'd be a bit of a stretch, but it's the island
all
tour.
1,000 islands.
All 1,000
every
islands.
one of the 1,000 islands.
Every one of the 1,000, and we'll count them to make sure there is 1,000, because can't fuck around. I was gonna do like all of the boroughs that except Toronto, so like sort of do like North York, Scarborough, Etobicoke, but then I was kind of like, I do believe that like they like Raptors just sort of make appearances there anyways. So like when they're in Toronto, like I feel like people like to come through, like Scarborough, Etobicoke, Mississauga, Brampton. Like it's a thing that like players show up and play in gyms nearby. So it's about giving the rest of Canada a shot. and it would be fun, like educate people on the nuances of Canada and like the cool different islands. Plus, I just love islands, so no biggie. Okay, let's do some NBA. Question number 3, Aiden. Let me start with you. We've been messing around with a lot of lists recently,
We
so
love a list. Love a list.
I think how I want to do this is let's I asked you guys to pick your 5 favorite point guards. So there's like a pre-existing list here. This is from NBA.com and Stephen No, and he's put together the top 25 point guards in the NBA. Shout out to my dog, Aiden's dog.
My dog, Aiden's dog.
Aiden's dog. Yeah, so let's do Aiden's taking care of his dog. He seems pissed. Aiden is taking his dog to the night shed.
That dog's spending the night.
Causing
the
someone
night
at the
shed.
door right in the middle of the podcast.
Of course.
The dog, yeah, I said you're taking your dog to the night shed. Oh, let me give myself a 6 out of 10 for that
Lock
joke.
him in the night shed.
How
Yeah,
dare you? That's a perfect 10, buddy.
it's a perfect 10. Yeah, so anyhow, 5 top point guards. I think here's how I want to do it. Just Aiden, we'll start with you and just like name one, and then we'll see where our lists differ. I don't even need like an ordered 1 through 5, but just like your top 5 point guards in the league right now. Aiden, who's on this list for you? Give me a guy.
I'll start with what most people would expect and work backwards. So my first, I think so first of all, as I said, I have a type. You'll probably see this type kind of show up as I go down this list. My first is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, guy's an MVP candidate, but is also a trash talker. Like, I don't know if you remember against Greece, like chirping at the guy at the end of the game, backing up his dudes. Like, I love that he's a scorer and a playmaker, but he's also a good defender, and he's invested. Like, there's a determination with him that not all players at his level and his like celebrity play at, and so he's my number 1 in the league.
I like it. I think he's my I sort of he's like 1 or 2 on my list. I don't have I'm unsure who I think is the better player. So I'll go, but my other guy is Luka. So I have like Luka and Shai as this like number 1 force. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's Shai number 1 because
to be clear, I'm not saying best in my list.
Okay.
It's just my favorite point
guards.
Picking
our favorite.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, it's just favorite.
Well, that's what I was doing.
I was sort of doing best, but favorite's fine too.
You
Okay.
just said favorite. You just said that.
Favorite's cool. Favorite's cool.
But in your list, you didn't say favorite.
I mean, both of those guys would be my favorite as well. So.
Fralix, only the best guys. Okay, I get it. I get what we're doing here.
No, you'll see. You'll see. I have a glaring omission who's like I'm sure on everybody's list, but he's not on mine.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Andy, who's like so, but anyways, both
I
those
got
guys
Shai
on my
first too
list.
because he's both my favorite and the best, and I think Luka is obvious. Luka's number 1 on this list because how do you argue with a run to the finals, right? And just an incredible season, but I don't know, man. Shai's more my style. He's more. I like him way better. What else can I say? I think he's the best.
So who's
SGA.
your? Who's your so you have those 2 guys on your list? Who's
I got SGA number 1 easily.
But do you have Luka on there? I assume.
Yeah, Luka's there. He's number 2.
So who's another guy?
Okay, another guy for me. I mean I can't ignore the greatness of Steph Curry. I think Yeah, like the Olympics had a little bit of an impact on how I think about him actually at the end of the season, finishing where the Warriors finished, but then looking at the Olympics and seeing like, oh, watch him when he has all these good players around him. He's obviously everyone's game gets elevated, but Steph is just like he becomes the guy basically, like a lot of times, right? So, even more so than he normally is, right? So I don't know, like standing out on a team like that is pretty crazy. So it just made me appreciate the greatness again. It's like we were going back a few years and looking at this guy, and I'm like, actually, you know what? I think we still got to give it to him for at least one more year, where he's in that top 3-4 conversation, and then next year I'll be like, okay, fine, let's take him out of the top 5 probably.
Okay.
Maybe.
I
We'll see.
also have Steph. So I got Steph, Luka, Shea, Aiden. Do you have Steph?
Wait, in which list? My favorite list or my best point guard list? If it's best, yeah, I mean, you still have to put him up there. There's no reason why you wouldn't. I think he's still one of the most threatening offensive players in the league that like bends defenses and breaks coaches' brains more than any other. So I don't think he's. In some ways, I don't think of him as a point guard though. Like, I guess I'm old school when it comes to how I conceive of point guard. So, and really it's arbitrary. It doesn't really matter, but he's more of a combo guard to me than he is what I would envision a point guard being.
So in what sense? Like you feel like because he's such a
He's
shooter?
just not like an orchestrator. He's not like, I mean, he playmakes, there's no question, but that's not what he's renowned for or what he's there for, right? He's like the guy that's running off screens and finding like, I don't know. It's just yeah, it's just not how I envision it, like the archetype of a point guard. Even though the archetype is completely out the window mostly.
Yeah, because like a guy like Shea is pretty. Like I don't know what his like assist average is, but he's pretty he's like, you can't stop me from scoring, and we start there, and then I do stuff after that.
Exactly, and same with Luka to some degree.
Yeah,
but Luka's also like yeah. I guess
he has some traditional point guard elements as far as like
he does
diming it all over the place.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I like that traditional point guard just means they don't really score.
Like,
I know.
It's like I guess they just pass the ball. But
post
I think
entry passes.
I'm the same exact way. I think of the same thing.
Ben Simmons, and we're out.
And done. Yeah.
So who's your
anyway?
Who's another guy?
So I'm just gonna go with the favorite list because that's what I created. My next guy was De'Aaron Fox.
Okay,
and the moment I fell in love with De'Aaron Fox, again, probably not traditional point guard. The moment I fell in love with him, Kentucky was playing UCLA, and Lonzo Ball was getting all of the love and the fame, and you kind of knew that Fox was just going to put him in his place and prove to him that he was the better player, and he absolutely destroyed Lonzo in that game. And it was then and there where I'm like, I love that kind of competitive edge. And he's blossomed into just like an incredible player. He's developed a shot from three, like a legitimate pull-up three. He's got a jumper. His floater game's sick. He's fast. He plays with Sabonis really well. He's really become like an actual like all-star primary option. He's not just kind of a one-trick pony. And I really just enjoy watching him play. And I love that they brought Monk back to reunite the two of them.
Because Monk was with Charlotte.
He was with the Lakers, I think, before Sacramento for a year, but he was in Kentucky with Fox. They were the backcourt.
I don't have Fox. I love Fox. A guy I have that I'm curious what you guys think about, but for me, because of all of the like, I guess like scandal and injury, And I think I'm not sure what happened in the preseason game, but I read like, oh, like he's unlucky or something like that. But I think it's not a major injury. But for me, I still am just like in awe of Ja Morant, and I feel like he has so much swagger. He's so incredible, and I guess I kind of refuse to believe that everything that happened has meant that he's like not that guy still. And I think there was like all of his scandal, and then last year was like a write-off for Memphis and he got injured. But I'm like, I still think that he is, I don't know. Like, I think there's a world in where he could be in the MVP conversation again. Like, I feel like he's that good of a player. But maybe he was just like a super athletic, explosive guy, and like all this stuff has slowed him down. And we've already seen his best basketball. That's definitely happened with a lot of guys like him before. But to me, it was more than just athleticism. It was like the manner in the manner in which he played. I feel like that's not done. So he's on my list.
Yeah, I feel like when Ja comes back, he's got to play "Forgot About Dre" as like his entrance music, because that's like going to be the theme of this season for him. It's funny because like everyone is being like, don't forget about Ja Morant. Anyways, he's number 10 on the list of best point guards or whatever. And it's like, I think you're kind of forgetting about him a little bit, because I do feel the same way. Like, this guy is really good. He's the most fun player in the whole league to watch, probably.
But it has also been a long time.
It has been a long time. Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, it's going to be cool to see him come back, and hopefully he comes back at that same level. I think he will. I don't see why he wouldn't, really.
I think he will. It's just a question of, can he stay healthy? It's like like the Iverson thing. He's just like so small and throws himself into the most insane predicaments. It just feels like an injury is inevitable,
and morally as well. So hey, watch out.
Watch out. He's in the night shed.
He's in the night shed. A lot of the time he's in the night shed.
Andy, who else you got?
Oh, I didn't know it was my turn again. Okay. So I think, we're all over the place now. Are we picking favorites or are we picking best?
For me, they were synonymous. So if you guys had your favorites, it's all good.
So you think your favorites are the best?
Pretty much. Like, but I would back down. Like, if, like, I'll say this: a guy I don't have on my list that is like a unanimous best for most people is Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
And Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, so Jalen Brunson is not on my list. So I feel like,
I thought you're gonna say the shrewd maneuver himself, Dennis.
The shrewd maneuver.
Yeah. So you're saying no to him? Okay, fine, fair enough.
I'm saying no to shrewd maneuver. And
all right, fine. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So if it's best, I thought basically
it's favorites. It's favorites. Is what I'm saying.
It's okay.
I've totally broken this game.
You've broken my brain. This is why I was like at the beginning of the podcast, I'm always like, do my questions make sense? And then every once in a while this happens where people are like, yeah, sure. And then we get to it and they're like, your question's a joke, buddy.
To be fair, your question did make sense. It's that when you introduced it, you said favorites, so it's different things. Okay. I want to point out to the listeners that Tyrese Halliburton is here at 5, and Jalen Brunson is on this list at 3. That we sent just as a reference of like for on Sporting News. But I'm going to go outside of that list, even though I do think those guys are both very good. I think, a full season of Dame and Giannis has happened, and I think it's time that it's going to start to really click. I'm going to go off with a hot take that now it's going to start clicking. Now it's going to work. And I think we'll see our boy Dame Lillard have a huge bounce back season and re-enter the top point guard list. Speaking of not thinking of a person as a point guard, like, it sometimes shocks me to see that Damian Lillard is a point guard, because I just am like, okay, yeah, you seem more like a traditional, like you said, like that combo guard style. So but anyways, I just think he's gonna. I think let's think about whether or not Ja Morant and Dame Lillard are the guys who are going to be like, hey, don't forget about us. We're still really good.
Yeah, we both want to come out to Forgot About Dre.
Yeah, we both. It's gonna be when the Bucks play the Grizzlies. It's gonna be a really
Who gets it?
Yeah, exactly. They're just gonna play it for everyone just to make it fair.
That's good.
Thanasis?
Holy shit. Guess he gets it too.
Oh my god, he's back after the big injury. Thanasis. I meant to bring this up another time when we were recording. There's this I think it's a documentary. I think it's a full documentary about Thanasis, and it's like how important he is to Giannis's psyche.
I've heard that as well.
Right? And like Giannis needs Thanasis there to be able to like focus and like maintain his like confidence and all of this stuff. And it's like it's just saying this now, you're like, that's weird, man. But then when you see them talk about it and stuff, you're like, it's very touching. It's actually like, oh my God, these brothers just love each other so much. And this one brother just like is there for his brother so much. I found it to be, even just like the trailer I saw for this, I think it was, like I said, I think it's a documentary about Thanasis Antetokounmpo. It was like beautiful. And I want to watch the whole thing. I got to look it up. I'll look it up right now. You guys talk about it. I'll look it up and see if I can find it.
I always laugh too about the Thanasis conversation where it's like, yeah, this guy sucks, and it's like you see him and he's just like built like the most athletic person you've ever seen in your life, who can do like Space Jam style Monstar dunks, and and everyone in the league's like waste man, and I'm like, could you imagine seeing a guy like that and being like, you suck?
He's also by far the most animated bench player in the league. Right, guy on the bench. Like, yeah. He is always standing, always cheering, always yelling. I absolutely love it. He knows his role. He knows it well.
Okay, perhaps predictably, I was mistaken about the documentary being about Thanasis.
It's about Giannis.
Maybe this documentary is about his brother Giannis.
Yeah,
and there's a segment dedicated to their relationship.
Makes a lot
could be
sense.
Yeah. I'm just saying that could be it. And it could be that the movie is called The Marvelous Journey and it's on Prime Video. There you go.
Okay, we're queued up. Everybody, check it out, and we'll do a special Patreon app about the Marvelous Journey. What is it called? The Marvelous Journey?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
The Marvelous Journey.
We won't do
name
that,
for a movie. Maybe The Marvelous Journey.
Sounds like it stopped halfway through, like the title.
Yeah.
Giannis, the Marvelous
Journey. Okay, Aiden, who's your last guy?
Okay, I have a big quad quartet of players in my 4-5 spot. And again, we're talking favorite, and they are in order: TJ McConnell, Jose Alvarado, Dennis Smith Jr., and Chris Dunn. All dudes. I mean, for Christ's sake, TJ McConnell is a 6-foot white guy who can't shoot, and he's getting paid tens of millions of dollars to be in the league. Like, that's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of in the NBA. I dare you to name one other one. I don't think I haven't thought long and hard about it, but I don't think I can. There and all four of them have made some more than others money just being hounds, like guys that just work so hard, full court, both ends of the floor, and then do a little bit of other stuff to keep them on the floor. But like McConnell especially is just such a unique player to watch. Like in the playoffs, he was a big part of Indiana's run, and he scores like so bizarrely, these little like jump shots 5 feet from the rim around the baseline. He's like skittling along like a little crab back and forth, like but they're just all just pests, and I absolutely love watching that, especially because so much of the NBA is like indifference. Like I know it's a long season. I know these guys do like are tired, whatever, but like these guys bring it all of the time. And as a fan, and I find it very enjoyable, entertaining.
Skittling like along like a little crab. That's good.
Skittling like the candy.
Not sure it's a verb. Not sure. Or a word.
Do you mean skittering?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Yes, Andy. Skittering.
No. You said Skittles like the candy. You meant it. You meant a fruity flavor coming out of a crab's butt. Okay.
I want to do this. Our last question here. So let's we'll just speed through. My last guy's Maxi. I love him.
Well.
He's super exciting, swag, and fast as hell. Andy, who's your guy?
Maxi, of course. Raptors. Come on, guys. Let's again,
Raptors?
If we're doing favorites. Sorry, Maxi.
You
I
mean-
meant quickly.
Quickly, I was like, whoa.
You just said Maxi. That's why. No, man, IQ. Come on. He's running his first team here. We got big expectations, big hopes. It's gonna be flawless. It's gonna be great. It's gonna work out perfectly. There's not gonna be any issues whatsoever.
Yeah, he dances when he hits a three. Come on, that's hype.
Come on, he skips back. Don't you want a guy who skips?
I do.
I'm happy about that we have the guy who skips. I'm very, very happy.
That's
about
good. It's fun. We need a guy
Yeah.
who skips. Okay, here's my last question. Every year the NBA will be like, they'll introduce new rules, and sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. I love the ones that don't stick, or not necessarily rules, just like things. Like there was they really tried to push like no celebrating on the bench, or you get a tech, which is like that fell apart. There was like they had a different color ball that didn't fly. They had like the jerseys that were t-shirts. Everybody got pissed off. I think at some point Steph Curry ripped his. I love when the NBA like tries to do stuff like this and you just know it's like somebody's idea and they're like, you gotta try this, and it just doesn't work and completely blows up. So I want to see who's got a good one that's like somewhat probable but is gonna fail. Andy, let me start with you. What's something the NBA is going to try and it's going to fail?
Oh man, expansion into another country.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, like I guess you meant rules or like jersey stuff. I was thinking. No, I just thought of this. I'm like, okay, they always talk about expansion to Mexico, right?
Yes.
Or like a weird, like maybe they'll expand to the UK or France or something. Like there's always like every 5 years, it feels like someone brings up that idea. And I kind of feel like if they tried it, it's not going to work. Mexico would obviously be more reasonable, I think, than like the European expansion or something, because I feel like you would need at least like 3 or 4 teams in Europe if you were going to do it, because that's a hell of a long flight for any Western Conference team to make. Like it's actually not as like it's not that bad for Eastern Conference teams. Like it's not that bad for New York and Toronto to be flying out there, but you try to get LA and Portland to fly to the UK, it's nuts. But that's ultimately the thing. Anyways, I don't know. I just think like every league talks about that on some level, and it's just never happened. And I'm pretty confident it never will. It's not like it is obviously in Europe with all their sports and how they can just play inter-country very easily. Here we have Canada and one Canadian team is like no one ever wants to play there. It's like, oh, the taxes are different, or like they have different kinds of mayonnaise and stuff and different chocolate bars. Forget it.
Milk.
It doesn't feel exactly. It doesn't feel like America. It's like it's not going to work. No one likes to be outside of America. Americans don't like to live outside of America, man. They're not going anywhere. We could barely get them comfortable in Canada's largest city. That's more American than a bunch of American cities. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get NBA players living in Mexico City or in London. It's just no way. Not a chance. Imagine a bunch of NBA players having to watch Coronation Street. Like I just as a separate thing. Like
they have to watch it.
That's another thing that would fail. If Adam Silver was like, hey guys, by the way, part of being in the league is you got a mandatory watch 6 hours of Coronation Street every week. That would fail. They wouldn't like it. It's different.
Yeah, yours are like I like yours because they're. I mean, Mexico City has been there for a while, but yours are so far away that it's like it's a big ass failure.
I swing for the fences on these questions because I have an ambition, Freddie. It's
okay. Pardon me, Nightshed. Okay, Aiden, what's your what's your
Okay.
electric flop?
Like I'm sure Adam Silver's listening to the show. So just
He does every
FYI, Adam Silver, before you do anything new, can you just freaking fix League Pass and NBA.com stats? Like these are just so frustrating.
Oh, sorry. He
So
just said
dialing in?
hello to me, and he said not happening. They're
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
going to be more
sorry.
broken than ever. Yeah.
We're too busy hanging out with Zuckerberg, talking about how we can do virtual reality NBA stuff, Avatar that no one wants. So we're gonna just totally forget about League Pass.
By the way, can they also figure that out though? Because it sucks. It's also not working.
I didn't even know it exists. I thought, anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. We can go down that road, but I think what's going to happen is they're going to try and max out like new tech / gambling until we're like bleeding out of our eyes and are bankrupt. And so I'm thinking something along the lines of like peer sponsored plays. So like you get like you have your app and there's like, okay, third quarter, 9-minute mark, Detroit Pistons, like the next time, or not 9-minute mark, the next timeout, the next out of bounds after a timeout play. It could be one of these 4 options, and you as a fan who are watching can vote on which one of the 4 they are going to execute. And then everybody submits, and then the next time out, the coach gets a little like flash on their iPad that you have to call this play because that's what the fans who are watching voted for to happen.
That's fun.
Yeah, that I feel like the betting thing is going to a bad place. Like it's not going to stop until weird shit happens.
Mine's
I'd say it's just not going to stop. There's going to you're see a lot of weird
stop.
shit happening. It's never going to stop. Like,
can you imagine though, like with mine, like Tom Thibodeau having to do what about like 20,000 viewers had voted on? Like,
I love that.
He'd retire. He'd retire before he'd have to do that.
Out of it. Yeah,
what?
Exactly.
What? That's
a good Tom Thibodeau. Listen to that Tom Thibodeau impression.
What?
You should have Tom Thibodeau sing your intro.
Leave my dog alone.
Tibbs in the intro for no reason, other than Freddie does a pretty good impression of him yelling, "What?"
Here's mine.
All right, let's go.
It's like in this, every broadcast has their like, here's the 3 things to watch for. They're gonna like force into the part of the like opening part of their broadcast. They're gonna force them to do like an AI segment. Sorry, an AI segment where it's like these are the AI picks for the like most important parts of the game, and it's going to be a full AI like 3-minute segment where the AI decides like this is the 3 major moments and like here's the highlights, and they're going to be fully like AI generated, and it's going to be just so weird. It's going to rub people the wrong way. It's going to be full uncanny valley, and it's going to end in a disaster where like AI puts a package together and it's like here's like Raptors versus the Bucks, and it's like all the Bucks players like don't have heads, and it's like you know what I mean. It's just going to be this like it's going to be a full viral thing where they're like it's just everyone rips on it so hard that the NBA just slowly fizzles it out after like 20 games.
Wow. That's I mean, I don't know what to say.
I'm not going to be surprised if it happens. Yeah.
I for one welcome our artificial overlords. I can't wait till they are running the place and we don't have to think about much. So just remember this. AI, remember Freddie said this.
Yep, AI. Come take me out. Snipe me.
Snipe him out.
Snipe me out.
Put him in the night shed. Let's go.
But guys, that's it. We made it to the end. This was a good pod. Aiden, where can people check you out? How can they follow you?
I'm on Twitter. You can follow me if you want. Just had an article go up on Raptors Republic
If
about.
you want, please do follow
Yeah, I
him.
mean, no pressure.
Yeah, it's all good. Like what?
I was writing about Jakob Poeltl, what to do with them, what the Raptors could do one way or another, trade him or keep him, and advantages, disadvantages of that. So you can read that, and that's about it.
Beauty.
Wicked.
Andy, what's going on with Trivia Town?
I don't know, but I'll just be I do actually have a shed in my backyard, and I will be
You
out
do.
there all night long, trying to figure out how to get the doors to open properly, and messing around with my cooler and my lawnmower. So check me out.
Because when you set up your shed, it like didn't
It's
settle
wonky.
right?
Like I definitely leveled the ground pretty good, put down some slabs.
Cool.
Then they definitely shifted when I put the shed on top. So
Yeah, it's all good. Shifting sheds. Follow me and Catherine's Catherine Buckets and Tea on Raptors Republic. Follow our WNBA podcast. We're right about to head into the finals. We just did our 100th episode, and good times. We will. This is awesome. Thank you both. I feel like my voice is fading by the second.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, it's been a long week. It's my Thibodeau voice. It fucking messed me up. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, and peace, love, and harmony.
Goodbye.